Yes, action. Why do I always say that when the video starts? Anyway,
Yeah,
hello.
time in a row.
Hello, anyway, this is TheAireaidLord. This is my second video for E3 2012, where I will be reviewing the press conferences from Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. We talked about Microsoft's blunder yesterday with their press conference, so now it's time to go on to Sony, the second contender. They actually had their press conference yesterday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but since they held it in Los Angeles, it was actually at 6 o'clock.
It's like 1 a.m. over here.
Yeah, 1 a.m. in England, where P-Dogs is where he lives, and he's also my guest for this, just as he was yesterday.
Again.
Again,
everyone.
Yes, hello. I'm actually going to start. Last time, P-Dog had the list of the Microsoft stuff, and he went through it. I'm actually going to start talking about the first half of the Sony press conference, and then he will wrap it up towards the end, okay? So first of all, we open up with a wondrous video from Sony. They basically show us all their new games, their history. It's remixed into some awesome video. We're supposed to get pumped, and then the president, Jack Trenton's like, if that video didn't get you pumped up for what you're about to see, then you're in the wrong place. And I'm like, that video didn't get me pumped up, and I'm pretty sure I'm in the right place. So
I was heard that there was like a dubstep in the trailer as well, and people were like covering their ears.
Oh my
gosh. I'm not even sure if it was a dubstep in the trailer or not, but trust Sony to do something like that.
Oh yeah, they were trying to gloat. They're like, yeah, that's what Jack Trenton said. He's like, Sony is PlayStation 3, the only console that does this, this, and this. And obviously they're trying to, say that Microsoft and Nintendo suck balls and that their system's the glorious system that everyone should buy. So. But he was gloating. He was saying that the PlayStation 3 is this, and we have the most dedicated fans in the world, and PlayStation Plus members. That was something. He's like, you all get a free PlayStation Plus when you leave here, and I don't even know what PlayStation Plus does. I believe,
it's like an advanced version of online where you get like free stuff every once in a while.
Yeah.
I remember Phil had it. Yeah, I think that's pretty generous of them to give away. Oh, everyone that's in this room can have a year free of PlayStation Plus.
Well, that's the thing. You do realize when you go to E3, you get so many free things just because you paid to go to that event. I mean, it's not like other gaming conventions where all they do is kick you in the balls and tell you can't film, kind of like PAX East. But anyway, we're not talking about PAX East or anything. Anyway. So, after Jack Trenton was done gloating about his system, we moved on to Beyond, which is the next game from Quantic Dreams, who made Heavy Rain. Little known fact, or actually no one knows this, I actually didn't play Heavy Rain, and I didn't have a PlayStation 3 at the time when it came out. I know, I bought my PlayStation 3 in 2011 in October. I didn't get Heavy Rain. I heard from everybody that it's an amazing game, but the next game, obviously, that I will be playing, since I do now have a PlayStation 3, is Beyond. And I think it's like Beyond Two Souls. Like, he kept saying the name he said the name of the game was Beyond, but then in the thing it says Beyond Two Souls. So I'm like, wait a minute, is it Beyond or Beyond Two Souls? Like, which one is it? Like, I was confused. But, yeah, I have no idea. But, so the game opens, and this girl is quiet, and the police officer's asking her questions, and he leaves, and the SWAT comes, and she's gone, and then they show her doing all this crazy stuff, and she's like, leave me alone, and she's running away, and she's doing all this crazy, I think it was, the guy opened up by saying, we all fear, passing away and dying. It's the biggest mystery on the human earth, and apparently that relates to the game, so it seems like some sort of, mysterious game that involves spirits and stuff like that. So I'm interested in seeing how it goes. It seemed really good. The graphics engine looked good, but those are some of my impressions from it anyway.
Starring Elaine Page, the famous.
Is that I meant to ask. Is that the person from Inception? Have you ever seen Inception?
Yes, it is.
Okay, yes, it sounded exactly like her. I'm like, yes, that is who. I was like, who the hell is Ellen Page? It sounds like someone I should know. And then I'm like, oh yeah, she was from Inception. She was the fucking girl who made the maze. Alright. So yeah, after fucking Beyond Two Souls, or Beyond, no, I shouldn't say it. Anyway, after that, okay. You know what I was going to say? Dark Souls? Oh, yeah, Beyond Dark Souls. No, I was trying to make a joke. Anyway. I believe after, I don't know if this is correct, but I think after they did Sony like All-Star Royales. What's the name of the game? Is it Super?
Let me find out for you. It's a PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale.
Yes, that's it. I knew it didn't have Super in it because when I saw this game, it reminded me of Super Smash Bros., which was a game that came out in 2001. I bought it for the GameCube. I used to play it with my friends, and I thought it was really cool because you had all these Nintendo characters battling it out with these powers. This game is like the same concept, except it's Sony characters. So you had Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal, you had Kratos from God of War. They also announced Drake, or Nathan Drake from Uncharted, and the Big Daddy from BioShock. But, and then there were some other characters, but yeah, basically that was it. You get power-ups and all that stuff, and they, it seemed like an interesting game, and a lot of people seemed interested. I'm actually interested in playing it just because it's, Super Smash Bros., but basically with Sony characters. That's the way I see it, unless they, oh no, it's not it. We're not trying to copy Nintendo. It looked like they're trying to do more. But I definitely thought it was interesting.
An interesting part about this game was that it's actually cross-play between the PS3 and the PS Vita, or Vita, whatever the heck it went from.
Vita, yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard them say this.
Yeah. And then they actually had 2 people playing on the Vita and 2 people playing on the PS3, all of them on like the same screen, and I thought that was it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Seeing them all, like,
well, the thing with me was I actually thought this game was only available on the Vita. I'm like, oh shit, I can't play that. I'm never gonna get a Vita. I think it's a waste of money, just like the Kinect and the Move and all this other garbage. And then he's like, oh, you can play on PlayStation and Vita. I'm like, oh wait, I guess this game really is for the PlayStation 3. And I was like, all right, cool, I can play it. So that was just some confusion I had briefly. So.
Pretty good.
So, and then after that, what was it? I think they had Ubisoft go up and they showed their games. Is that correct?
I think so. Well, obviously this one we don't have as much of a planned schedule like we did the last video. The last video I kind of knew every single thing that happened in chronological order. This time it's kind of like, this happened, that happened.
Yeah, because I saw.
Apologize.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the first half of the press conference, but once they started talking about Harry Potter, which I'll get into, I just turned it off. But yeah, I believe they moved on. They had representatives from Ubisoft come out, and Ubisoft did have their own press conference, by the way. But it was short, so I didn't really feel like I needed to make a video about it. What they did? I heard people talking about that. How did he guest star? Just real quick. How did he?
He was just up. He was like up there, and he was like doing some stuff with the game. I don't really know, but I was like, what the heck? Like, why is Tobuscus there? Like, and Phil made a really good point in his recap video. He was saying like, they need to do the research because he's not a real gamer and stuff. Like, why would you just get somebody who's like a YouTube celebrity and nobody knew who he was? Like, I don't think people from like IGN and GameSpot and stuff know who Tobuscus on YouTube is. But
yeah, I know that
he was there.
Yeah, I know he thinks his ego is so fucking big. He's like, oh, everyone should know who I am, and I should be able to play these games and get special access to the conference. But it's stupid. You should have seen that coming. That some fucking freakazoid like that would have been able to do that. But anyway, so yeah, he goes up and plays. What was it really Assassin's Creed that he played? Because I know the first game they showed was Assassin's Creed 3, right?
No, he wasn't on the Sony conference. He was on the Ubisoft.
Oh, the Ubisoft.
Ubisoft regular one. He wasn't on the Sony one, but he.
Oh, never mind.
People in Ubisoft were up there. They were doing Assassin's Creed 3 and other stuff. I forget.
Yeah, but I remember what happened with the Assassin's Creed. They came up. I think they announced, it was either before or after, they announced Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, which is exclusive to the Vita, and it's basically the first time you play as a girl in Assassin's Creed, and it takes place during the Revolutionary War, same thing as the actual game Assassin's Creed 3 for the Xbox and PlayStation, but you play as a girl, and it's only for the Vita. And I'd love to play it, but I don't have a Vita, so I guess that's out of the, that's not going to happen. It did look cool. They said, you can explore the entire map, just like GTA Vice City Stories, which I used to play when I had a PSP. I did actually own a PSP. I played Vice City Stories. It was pretty much the only game I owned other than Loco Roco, but, fucking GTA Vice City Stories was one of those games I just flipped open and blew things up for a couple minutes and then put it away, because GTA is like that. It's fun. But anyway, Assassin's Creed 3, they showed footage of Connor on a boat. It was like Pirates of the Caribbean. He was sailing around, blowing up ships, and the video ends with him jumping on the enemy ship. And it was funny, my father was actually watching the conference with me, and he's like, there's no way these ships would be able to move so fast, and why are there 400 cannon shots going at the other ship? And I'm like, because he loves U.S. history, like he knows all about the Revolutionary War. So as soon as he saw all these flaws with the game, he's like, what the fuck, this doesn't make any sense, this is stupid. And I'm like, Dad, you know, they gotta obviously make this mainstream. He's like, bullshit, blah, 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 so. Just a little side note.
I wouldn't show Call of Duty in that case, I wouldn't show Call of Duty.
Oh my, no, he plays combat training. He wants to play combat training for Black Ops 2, but he's concerned that it's going to be too futuristic. But anyway, not to get off topic.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it looked really good. I think the trailer looked... It was very action-oriented, at least the part of the show. Because, I mean, you're on a pirate ship. I mean, it's going to be... You know, all hell's going to break loose whenever you're on a pirate ship. You know, yeah, like you just stated, cannons were going a mile a minute. You were, like, running around. You were controlling the pirate ship. If you were to show this game to anyone else and not mention the title, I don't think anyone would have said it was Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm like, why is Connor wearing a fucking like? He looked like a patriot. He had blue uniform on, but he looked like Jack Sparrow. I'm like, what's going on right now? I was like, what? All right, but yeah. Anyway, that was Assassin's Creed 3. Looked cool. There's actually other gameplay of Assassin's Creed 3. I believe it was showed at the Ubisoft press conference. It's different footage of Connor interacting with a camp, and he has to assassinate a guy, and it showed actual gameplay, real Assassin's Creed gameplay that, you know, most people know. And I've actually seen Assassin's Creed gameplay on a really, really quick note. At PAX East, they showed exclusive footage of it. They actually didn't show this exclusive footage at all at E3, I want to mention. The video I saw at PAX East was the Battle of Breed's Hill. And there are some screenshots of it. In the reveal trailer, they show it, but very briefly. They actually haven't shown this footage at all. I'm thinking maybe on the showroom floor, like if you get to play these games, you might be able to play that level. I don't know. But I think that's just kind of, you know, a little crazy. But anyway. On to the next Ubisoft game, which was Far Cry 3. Sequel to Far Cry 2. Yeah, and this guy with a beard comes out and he says, oh, you know, the big selling point for this game is 4-player co-op. So 4 people go up on stage. P-Dog had an interesting theory about the 4 people. He can tell you that after I tell you about my weird theory. These 4 people go up on stage and they start playing this game. And I'm like, alright. So I start watching this guy run around with the gun. And the camera pans in on the dudes playing. However, my head started to swerve like a camera. Like, as I'm watching this dude play, like, I saw the game moving, like, really weird. Like, it was jittery. It was all glitchy. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Then I realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm not watching one person. The guy who's operating the camera keeps shifting from the 4 players. So he went from the first person to the second person to the third person to the first person. I'm like, dude, stop shifting the camera. I'm trying to watch one dude. My brain is having problems computing all of this stuff. Like, it was really hurting my head. Like, I had to turn away just because it was so freaking ridiculous. And now I'm getting a phone call that I'm going to ignore. But anyway...
Oh, good job.
No, someone else got it. But anyway, it was ridiculous. And I was like, why are they shifting? Why not show one dude playing for an extended period of time and then shift to someone else? Like, it didn't make any sense at all. It was a weird decision.
It kind of reminded me of if you're playing like Call of Duty Search and Destroy. If you're like the first one to get killed, I think this is what happens. Then yeah, I know what happens in Counter-Strike for sure. If you get killed in like a game like Counter-Strike Source or whatever, or Counter-Strike Global Offensive, you still like to get in the beta. If you really like the guy in the camera, it kind of reminded me of if you go to the guy to like the rest of your team, and what happens is you can kind of flick by and see what they're all looking at in their view. It kind of reminded me as if someone was, you know, recording that, but they were like mashing the button, and like you just seen everyone's like screens coming up. Like,
yeah, but that's when you're playing home by yourself. This is fucking E3, so yeah, I don't know, whatever. So that was that. Those 4 people played that, and
the 4 people: Phil, John Rambo, Pandeli, and Crucial.
Oh my god, yeah, those are just people we know, and just oh my god.
Obviously, they had to get a girl in there to not be sexist, and
yeah. No.
I think the final thing to point out is I like how they all were like shouting at each other orders, because I'm sure whenever I'm playing co-op, I'll be shouting, "Oh, kill that guy. Yeah, you got him. Yes, good shot. Yeah, because it sounded really active.
No, but he was.
The gameplay was pretty good.
Yeah, he was talking like he was commanding his army. He's like, all right, move up, fall back, reloading, covering. I'm like, dude, you take this way too seriously. But anyway, so after Far Cry, what was it? I think Jack Tretton came out and talked for like 15 minutes. And this is something I actually have to say Sony did a good job on. Not that I'm not saying they did well on motion controls. I think it's stupid, but they didn't do what Microsoft did. Microsoft, as we said in the last video, spent so much of their time and their resources on stupid ass motion controls, talking about it and showing all these dumb videos and presentations on it. Sony just stated the facts. They're like, we have this many titles of motion controls, we have this and we have this and we have this. I don't know if they actually showed a preview. We'll move on to that if P-Dog wants to talk about it. I don't know if they actually showed any gameplay of a PS Move title, but when Jack Tretton was talking about this after the Far Cry 3 gameplay, it was quick. He was just snappy. He was talking about it. It took like 10 minutes, but he didn't show this big dramatic video and like all these people acting and waggling their hands and trying to talk to their stupid fucking system. They didn't need to do that like they did with the Kinect. That I kind of liked. But then, I was like, okay, this conference might go well. But then they move on to Wonder Book. And this dude comes up on stage, and again, my father was laughing at him because he thought his, how he was, wobbling back and forth was funny because he thinks he didn't have good public speaking skills. But anyway, this is Wonder Book, and I don't understand entirely how this works. I think it's something to do with the PlayStation Store or your Vita. But basically, it's a way that they're collaborating with J.K. Rowling. If you don't know who J.K. Rowling is, she's the author of the Harry Potter series, which I have very strong beliefs about the Harry Potter series, which I'm not going to go on a rant about right now. But basically, they had her. No, they didn't actually have her at the convention. That would have been fucking stupid. But they showed her book, and yeah, better than Usher. Yeah, there you go. But they basically said, "Oh, we're collaborating with her, and she's going to be writing these little things, and we're in collaboration with the official Harry Potter website, and we're trying to have this be a feature." And I don't know. Do you know anything about it, P-Dog? I know a couple of things.
Well, the book's called Book of Spells, pretty much.
Yep.
They had like this thing, and they were showing it on the camera, and then look, everything's popping out as if you're a fucking 2-year-old reading a pop-out book. Oh, look at all that. And then you see him like, oh no, your book is on fire, quick, brush it out, and you're just kind of like, okay, I don't know why it's really necessary. I don't see people on like forums and stuff crying out, oh, I wish I had some sort of device where I could like point it on my TV and then I could do stuff with them. I don't see the reason.
Yeah, even Harry Potter fans, they're not, the main thing they want is a new Harry Potter book. They're like, make an 8th Harry Potter book. That's all they ask. They don't want this stupid shit, so I don't know. So, that was that, and then...
You never know, whenever the orb gets really big, you never know, they might come up and say, hey, we do a Wonder Book version of the orb.
Yeah, but that might make more sense, though, because it's my novel that I wrote is a science fiction book, so you might be able to see some space stuff, and, you see spaceships. I don't know. I'm not trying to justify Sony's weird decision, but I'm just saying it's, whatever. Anyway. Alright, so P-Dog, you'll take over the next... That was basically the halfway points. You can take over the next half of the conference.
Well, after the Wonder Book, and everyone was all standing about it. Oh, by the way, before I continue, like, one little funny thing was the girl that was demoing. Of course, you had to have one of these moments on a big E3 conference where it didn't work. So the guy said, and this girl is going to demonstrate to us how you would, like, kill a dragon or something that came out. And she took a good 5 minutes, and she didn't even kill it, so well done to her. After that, they showed a trailer and some gameplay of God of War Ascension. Meh, it's just another God of War game. You look at it and you're just kind of like, oh, well, look, it's another God of War game.
Yeah, I saw it. It looked...
Yeah,
it looked like really similar to the previous God of War games. I heard people complaining. They're like, oh, this game is nothing new. It's the same thing. Why is this, a complete redo of the previous God of Wars? And, this is another thing that people are going to probably gripe about. I haven't played a God of War game ever, but, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I have something to compare it to, but from comparing this footage to previous God of War games, it really doesn't look any different. So I guess I can kind of agree with people's complaints. So.
And I've never played a God of War game either. So but at the same time, I've seen footage of all three of the different games, and I was looking at it, and I was a bit underwhelmed. I was like, oh, look at some other God of War games, and blah blah blah. So just me.
So after that,
After that, I think I'm not really sure because the stream that I was watching, and also keep in mind it was pretty late at night. I was a bit like hesitant, but like I wasn't really paying much attention. But I think Jack came out and he said, "Oh, thank you very much for watching." Now here's a preview of our hit title, The Last of Us.
mm-hmm.
And everyone that went to PS3 is really excited for this game, and the gameplay didn't disappoint. It's very.
I'm not excited for it. I'm not excited for it. You know why?
Oh, wow.
Because they didn't make a freaking Jak and Daxter game! They traded this game for Jak and Daxter. They were this close to making a new Jak and Daxter game. There's an article in the Game Informer magazine that they were this close to making a Jak and Daxter PS3. What do? They go with the freaking Last of Us, this post-apocalyptic... I'm angry. I think it's still going to be a good game, but...
What was the game company that made it?
Naughty Dog.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it made Uncharted and everything, yeah.
So, the gameplay reminded me a lot of, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the film called The Road, where it was a really good idea, but the flipping film sucks. But yeah, that's just a little off-topic thing. It kind of reminded me of that. It was very violent, which I was pretty surprised by. Like, you beat people with the butt of your gun, people's heads were like blowing off, you had the girl just shooting people. It was really weird, like it was really messed up. But at the same time, it did look pretty gritty. It did look pretty good. If you were a fan of this type of stuff, then this is right up your alley. It is really gorgeous, I must say. And there's this your relationship type thing that's in it between the main character called Joel or whatever the heck his name is, and a girl called Ellie, which is pretty weird. I think that was probably the girl in the gameplay in the trailer. So.
Yeah.
So that's The Last of Us. A bunch of people were kind of excited for it.
Yeah, it's also going to be the last game I purchase from Naughty Dog if they don't fucking release Jak and Daxter within the next century.
Do you think if Naughty Dog came out and said, oh, by the way, there's going to be a new Jak and Daxter game, I can imagine you jumping to the sky.
Oh my god, I'd be so happy. Dude, technically the last Jak and Daxter game that came out was in 2004. That was Jak 3. The next year they had Jak X Combat Racing, which I did for April Fool's Day. It was the worst fucking game ever. Then the year after they had a PlayStation Portable title, which actually told the backstory of the second game, and I actually bought that. And then they didn't have another game for the longest time. Then in 2009, Naughty Dog sold some of the rights to High Impact Games to make Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier. It was the worst game ever. People were getting the wrong impression of Jak and Daxter by buying it. It sucked. It wasn't made by Naughty Dog. It was the worst game ever, and it was for the PlayStation 2, even though the PlayStation 3's been out for, 4 or 5 years since they made that game. So that was technically the Jak and Daxter history. So, again, there was an article where even Wells, the co-CEO of Naughty Dog, talked and said, listen, a lot of fans are asking for a new Jak and Daxter game, and we were thinking of taking what we found in Uncharted, what made the Uncharted series successful, and taking that and integrating that into Jak and Daxter. But we found that doing that takes away from what made Jak and Daxter. They felt that it made it too serious, it wasn't funny, because I don't know if you've ever played Jak and Daxter, but it's a very funny comedic game. Oh, okay, it's comedic, and it's very, it's cool humor, but it's also serious when it needs to be serious. It's a perfect game, perfect story. So it's my favorite game series of all time. But they felt that the improvements they were going to be making weren't enough to warrant a new game, so they pushed it aside, and they're like, don't worry, we'll come back to it eventually, but right now The Last of Us is our main concern. So I'm like, alright, whatever. But, yeah, that's just a mini rant. That's a mini rant to tack on to, yeah, so.
Alright, so that was pretty much it.
That was it.
At the end of the press conference. So I guess my final thoughts for it. It blew Microsoft shit out of the water, I must say.
Oh, yeah.
While they did promote some stupid stuff, like the Wonder Book, their main focus was all on games. Thank flipping heaven for that. Because, Microsoft was kind of like, okay, here's the game for you. No, there's an hour of Connect. Now here's a game for you. No, there's stuff with Smart Glass, like...
ESPN. Sports.
ESPN, because everyone loves it. And sports and fitness and stuff. But this one, thank goodness all of it was on the games and stuff. And, you had, you know, all the good releases. The best thing about it was almost all of them were actual console exclusives. Like all of the ones that Microsoft had, like Call of Duty and stuff, and Tomb Raider and Splinter Cell, and you know those games they'll be coming out for like all the consoles. So,
yeah.
Whereas Sony had, you know, they have Beyond Two Souls, which is a Sony exclusive, The Last of Us Sony exclusive, God of War, you know, all those their games.
Yeah, what two exclusives did you have from Xbox? Gears of War, Judgment, and Halo 4? That's really it.
Yeah, but that was the only games that they had that were exclusive, unless there was with Kinect.
Yeah, blah. Yeah. Alright, so what would you give it as a score? Out of 10.
Well, yesterday I gave Microsoft a 5. I'm going to have to give Sony an 8. I think it's a really good.
You're too generous to Sony, and I don't understand why people keep calling me, but anyway. I think Sony's press conference, in my opinion, did do way better than Xbox. Like you said, you know, they focused on games more. They didn't completely... I mean, why do we need a live performance by Usher at the Microsoft press conference? At least Sony didn't do that. The Harry Potter thing was probably, you know, the worst moment for me. And also, you know, obviously The Last of Us and the Jack and Daxter thing. Obviously, I don't agree with that decision. But other than that, I mean, Sony was fine. I mean, you know, they were gloating a lot. But, you know, other than that, they focused on the games. That's what E3 in your press conference should be. I'm assuming Nintendo is going to talk about all the, you know, the whole time they're going to talk about the Wii U and how fucking great and innovative it is. But for Sony, I think, you know, their focus on the games was really home, and it's what they needed to do for their press conference. It's what they needed to do to beat Microsoft in terms of sales. You know, people watching Microsoft's press conference, seeing, you know, like, oh, you can use your tablet and your Xbox, and, you know your press conference sucks when people who, you know, people who you're having as guests at your press conference insult you in a joke at your own press conference. You really know that you fucked up if that happened. So I really think that, you know, for the PlayStation 3, you know, it was a pretty good, I'd have to give it a 7. You know, it wasn't that great, but I think it was still a great press conference. So, alright, we will be back tomorrow with the Nintendo press conference. Thank you for watching this. I'm the TheAireaidLord. P-Dog as well will be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching.